Hello and welcome to this special episode on news reading, which can be of immense use to the students of theatre in their on-stage performances. When a newsreader is also an actor or actually a presenter, a capable newsreader has to have a lot of qualities which are also desired from an actor, namely absence of stage fright, composure and poise, genuineness, friendliness, smoothness, naturalness, sensitivity to the topic, conveys understanding of implication, etc. And now faults of a newsreader are also a bit similar to those of an actor, that is being synthetic or having false manners, remoteness, excessive formality, harshness, crockiness, jerkiness, inappropriate tone for some topics, just reading the words, uninvolved, shouting, straining or being loud, etc. Control over voice, facial expressions and body language is something which we can learn from observing newsreaders. Let us first know something more about them. Newsreaders are also known as news anchors or news presenters, but whatever title they hold, the newsreader is the only person of the news team that the viewer sees apart from the small glimpses they get of journalists when they do a piece to camera. Put simply, the newsreader is the public representative of the news team. This job carries a lot of responsibility, especially in the present highly competitive television news market, where getting viewers to watch your bulletin and keep on watching it is a significant part of the job. Just as there are many names that describe this job, there are also many different types of newsreaders and many different ways of doing the job. Whatever employment criteria particular stations may have, the basic requirement for being a newsreaders are the ability to write short scripts and links, the willingness to keep up to date and read the news wires and other sources of information so that they are familiar with the items they are presenting, the nerve to speak directly to the camera and therefore the viewer, the skill to be coherent and intelligible yet warm and friendly, the need to develop an on-air personality that the viewers can like and trust. Now, credibility, if we talk about this aspect related with that of newsreader, one aspect of immense importance is learning how the newsreaders cultivate the sense of credibility, which if understood can be very useful for a theatre actor. After all, more a person is able to influence one's audiences is purely on how much trust or credibility they can get from them. Newsreaders should in fact love to deliver the news instead of making it a chore. We want to be the first to tell something what's really happening. So we do it with enthusiasm, gravity, dignity, excitement or whatever the context of story dictates. We combine these different fields into a style that reassures the viewer that we can be believed and that they can trust what we are telling them is the best information available. In short, that we are credible, and we do it with balance so that the viewer feels that the presenter is really talking to them personally and not just putting on an act. Credibility is earned. We get it from being reliable and dependable, the same way we get friends. So we should report the news in the way our friends have come to expect, with credibility. The other important element in developing a credible news style is to be consistent. It would be hard to develop credibility if the news is presented in a different way each time the viewer switches on. Ask news directors what they look in reporters and anchors, and most will tell you credibility. They want people who are believable, people who come across as knowledgeable and comfortable with what they are doing. Jeff Puffer, a voice coach for one of the United States of America's major broadcast consulting firms, Frank Magid Associates, says he knows many reliable anchors and reporters with good potential who just don't seem comfortable in the anchor's chair. In person, they are spontaneous and charming, but on air they are wooden with unnatural speech rhythms and awkward inflection. Puffer says that when he is instructing anchors and reporters, he expects them to show two qualities in their reading: intelligence and genuine sensitivity. He says that he looks for emotion that is appropriate for the story, the person, and the occasion. He says, and I quote, "I want them to demonstrate that they know what they are reading and that they are thoughtfully weighing the facts as they speak. I always want them to say it with feeling, not artificially, but with sensitivity and maturity." It is not always easy for anchor reporters to accomplish these goals, and those who coach people in delivery techniques use a variety of methods. Puffer says he doesn't concentrate on speech pathology material such as breathing, diction, and resonance. We are involved in matters relating to interpretation, making voice sound spontaneous and conversational, like an ad lib. Puffer admits that his methodology could be called unconventional or unorthodox, but he says given what we have been finding in neuroscience research, we know that whole of human intelligence is not just the left side of the brain, the intellectual side. It is also intuition, artistry, abstractions, pattern recognition, and other things like that. The voice is a powerful asset. People can decide whether they like you or not, either in full or in part, by the reaction to the sound of your voice. No matter how well you dress as a presenter, the sound of your voice will be the decider. People react to them at a subconscious level. Your voice can reveal a lot about you as a person. Example, if you are confident or not, low self-image, arrogant, caring, etc. A shrill voice produces definite physical reactions like involuntary muscle tightening and constriction of blood vessels. It can be like scratching fingernails down a blackboard. So, something very irritating. So, beauty is in the eye as well as the ear of the beholder. The tone you use carries the load of what you say. It will establish your credibility and authority or undermine it. The secret of a vital sound is to speak from the gut, not the throat. Aim for the lowest comfortable pitch. You can find this out by counting down aloud, getting lower in your pitch as you go down. I will give you a demonstration. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, if you find somewhere between 4 to 5 that is something comfortable for you, then you should make that your starting pitch from where you can go up or down. The biggest cost to authority is a high voice with no body. When we hear voices like that, despite all our learning, our tolerance and our sense of fairness, prejudice can arise in our minds. We can be distracted from what the presenter is saying because of the way he is saying it. We can wonder about the presenter's sexuality or his lifestyle or even about his reputation, and of course, not only does that damages the presenter's credibility and that of his station, it can also cause the viewer to feel guilty for having thought that in the first place. Guilt or shame is a very negative feeling. We don't want our viewers to feel like that. So, it is best to avoid triggering that response. It damages our professional authority and our credibility. Now, let us talk about pace of reading. Your common sense should tell you the correct pace to deliver a particular story, and variations must not be so exaggerated that they divert attention away from the story. We don't want the bulletin to lose its momentum, its drive, buoyancy, and its life. We don't want viewer to think you are acting and are not sincere. Choose a pace that suggests the action being described. Let's do an exercise for pace. Read out aloud clearly the following poem, The Pied Piper of Hamelin. We suggest doing some warms up first and then read it using your voice. Rats, they fought the dogs and killed the cats and bit the babies in the cradles and ate the cheeses out of the vats and licked the soup from the cook's own ladles, split open the kegs of salted sprats, made nests inside men's Sunday hats, and even spoiled the women's chat by drowning their speaking with shrieking and squeaking in 50 different sharps and flats. Great rats, small rats, lean rats, browny rats, brown rats, black rats, grey rats, tawny rats, grave old plodders, gay young friskers, fathers, mothers, uncles, cousins, cocking tails and pricking whiskers, families by tens and dozens, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, followed the piper for their lives. Facial expression and mannerism are a key factor in making of a newsreader. Successful anchors and newsreaders maintain a natural posture that doesn't mean stiffening up. The posture is relaxed but not casual. You can learn a thing or two from newsreaders who are able to create interest in audiences by their facial expression, which is composed and friendly, body language which is positive, confident, assertive, and speech which is full of energy and with subtle layer of emotions which gives color and life to a script which the newsreader is merely reading from a teleprompter. My colleague will give you a short demonstration of first reading the news like a rookie, an inexperienced person, and then like a seasoned professional, and then you can see the difference.
This one is flat. India today made a giant stride when it successfully test-fired nuclear-capable Agni-5 intercontinental ballistic missile with a striking range of over 5,000 km. The surface-to-surface Agni-5 was launched from a mobile platform from the Wheeler Island of the Odisha coast this morning. That has placed India at the threshold of an elite 5-member club that possesses ICBMs.
See, although the pronunciation is spot on, but the wooden expressions, or should we say the lack of expressions, and the body language as well as lack of expression in the tone of the newsreader is something which is very disturbing. Now, this is a news of national importance and pride. If you talk about expression, the newsreader should present this news with a sense of pride, and if he wants, with a hint of smile. Now, we will read out this news again and then you will see the difference.
India today made a giant stride when it successfully test-fired nuclear-capable Agni-5 intercontinental ballistic missile with a striking range of over 5,000 km. The surface-to-surface Agni-5 was launched from a mobile platform from the Wheeler Island of the Odisha coast this morning. That has placed India at the threshold of an elite 5-member club that possesses ICBMs.
One of the main problems with the broadcaster's voice is what happens when the pressure is on. Tension can do terrible things to tie the sound of the voice, just as can strong emotions. Then there are those odd affectations we can get through unchecked habits. When tense, we are inclined to hold the voice high in the chest and we neglect to breathe properly, and it comes out thin and strangled. But some people do this without even being tense. One such back in the throat delivery is called laryngeal ring. That is something we should avoid. Now, beloved of sports commentator, link word stress is a subconscious devotion to the little, easy, unimportant but necessary joining words, like for example at, to, like, by, from, or, if, in, where, when, a, an. Because they are safe words and everybody can pronounce them easily, some journalists and commentators leap upon them as if they are stepping stones in a swiftly flowing stream. Now, if you talk about relatability to the topic, you must approach each news story with respect for its assigned value in the bulletin and never sound tired. If you can't be bothered with the story's content or any other story in the news, you cannot expect the listener to stay interested. So stay fresh, whether happy, tragic, exciting, sad, historic or ordinary, you must translate that spirit to the storytelling. Remember when you were a small child and your parents read stories or told them to you, probably you made them tell your favorite story again and again, and you could soon tell if they were too busy to tell it to you properly. You did not like that, of course. Another area where newsreaders can help you out is the most important element of spoken language, that is the pronunciation. Although speech may be stylized to suit a character if you talk about theatre, but purity of language in television and radio news is paramount, and newsreaders of the broadcast arena are the most recognized orators. Newsreaders should avoid using words that are difficult to pronounce. Well, sometimes it is unavoidable. The mind understands the meaning of many words, but sometimes it has trouble relaying the pronunciation to the tongue, which causes newscasters to stumble over their copy. This is something also which happens with actors. Tricky words and phrases invite trouble. Sometimes writers and anchors have no choice. However, proper names, for example, cannot be changed. Spelling them correctly does not guarantee that they will be pronounced correctly. The writer of a newscast must identify the correct pronunciation of any difficult name in a script. Reporters should ask the people whom they are interviewing for the proper pronunciation of their names. Names of the town also should be checked if there is any doubt. When using difficult names, you can write them phonetically in the copy to help the person who will be reading the script. The phonetic spelling can be given after the word or written above the word. Writers working on a newscast should ask the anchors which style they prefer. Dictionaries which give the proper pronunciation of words as well as their meaning are invaluable tools. Several dictionaries of pronunciation are also available for purchase, and most newsrooms keep copies on hand. If you are unsure about the pronunciation of a word, look it up. I will give you some examples, and in case of some difficult names like Farooq Khadami, Ahmad Kudirov, Thomas Kenzig, Kale Zol, Peter Kaleko, Melina Kanakaridis. Now for some basic exercises for maintaining the voice box of humans, that is the mouth, throat and chest. Learn to yawn at will. Notice how the base of your throat opens as you yawn. Then add a hum as you yawn, keeping your tongue low in throat. Next, practice yawning with your mouth closed and feel the back of your neck expand. Now for another exercise, stretch the jaw, open it wide, wiggle it around, move it from side to side, stretch those cheeks. Now next exercise, put your fist to your closed lips and blow out the cheeks like a balloon. Clean the inside of the mouth with the tongue. Then stick it out as far as it will go, like shaking the broom out of the window. You can see the demonstration. Give yourself plenty of room and rotate each arm about 5 times from the shoulder, moving them like fan blades. Then bend your elbows so that your hands are crossed in front of the chest. Now gently but firmly reach back with the tips of your elbow, trying to make them meet behind your back. They won't go that far, but that is the direction to take. Do that 5 times 2 at about the pace and as gently as the demonstrator is doing it in the video. Do not do it too fast or aggressively, or you may hurt yourself. Thank you so much for watching.